Welcome back to my real life series videos. This will be real life number 13. Before I start this though, I want to give everybody kind of a heads up, especially for my new subs who are not real familiar with the real life series. Maybe you ran across this video. This is going to be a story about real life as it happened in reality. So if that makes any sense. I'm not going to candy code anything, therefore there's going to be some foul language, and I don't usually use foul language in my videos, but there's going to be dialogue with certain people, and I want that dialogue to be as spot on accurate as it can possibly be, or at least that my memory will allow. So, you know, I just want to keep it real, and so that's, you know, hence the title Real Life. So if you're sensitive about foul language, this is just a heads up that, you know, you may not want to watch these videos. So, having said that, I'm going to start off where I left you in real life number 11. And that was me telling you that there were things brewing in the land of the pinheads. And if you notice, I put a couple of pins in the voodoo down there, so something's brewing. And it sure is. I'm going to introduce you to Pinhead. Now, I know that I have talked about Pinhead in previous videos, but I'm going to spotlight Pinhead because he really deserves that. He may not think that, but oh, he does. He deserves every bit of what I'm going to tell you. Now, I'm going to start from the very beginning with Pinhead, which actually predates anything that was going on with the Lambert situation, with the Frito's house and the property line and all that stuff, and, you know, Super Trooper and yada yada yada. So this is actually when I first got done. And now, when I buy property, one of the first things that I do is I hire a legal surveyor or licensed surveyor to survey out the property lines. And the reason I do that is because it fits in with my philosophy, and that is, I do not want anything that does not belong to me. However, if it belongs to me, I want every bit of it. Okay, that's just my philosophy, you know, and I think that it's good words to live by. So I hire a surveyor, and at the time I hired the surveyor, he was recommended, and in fact he was the county surveyor at the time. Do I wish I would have used a different surveyor? Yeah, I do. However, having said that, you get what you get. So I hired a surveyor. He's dragging ass. I've got I've got 2 tracts of land, actually 3 tracts of land that I need surveyed. One was a large tract, which was 482 acres. Then there was another tract with actually a 50-acre tract that was over in the land of the Pinheads. And then another 40-acre tract. But anyway, we'll talk about the 50-acre tract. The 50-acre tract that was in the land of the Pinheads, which was basically up over on the other side of the mountain, and it was adjointed by Pinhead. So at the time, I didn't even know who Pinhead was. You know, so I talked to my surveyor, and I'm like, look, I've got to head back up north, but I'd really like to be able to show that boundary of timber to a logger or two before I take off. Now, real quickly, when it comes to logging, there's 2 ways that you can sell timber. One is to sell it by the boundary, which basically means you flag your entire boundary of property and you sell it as a whole. So, for example, if you got 50 acres, and let's say it's choice prime timber, it depends on the price of timber, which is really kind of shitty now, but back then it was a lot better. Oh, let's just say $1,000 an acre, you could pretty much assume you're going to get. So that'd be $50,000 if you sold it by the boundary. If you sold it in a different way, and the other way, I guess, to sell it would be to sell it on a percentage, which is that basically you get paid by the sawmill a percentage of whatever particular load comes in that, you know, that day or that week, or loads, I should say. So there's advantages to either way. The nice thing about selling it by the boundary is you get your money up front, but you're going to probably get a little bit less than you would have gotten if you sold it on a percentage. The downside to percentage is you've got to find a really honest logger, which, by the way, they are very difficult to come across. because what'll happen sometimes, or more often than not actually, if you're not there to be able to watch that timber leave that property and count those trucks, there's a very good chance that maybe 1 or 2 trucks will go to the sawmill that you and the logger have agreed to work with, and then the rest of the loads will go to a sawmill in another county that you don't even know about. So, but anyway, bottom line, I was working with the surveyor. The surveyor says to me one day, he says, look, he goes, I'm not going to be able to get the survey done before you have to go back up north. He goes, but I can get some basic boundary markers up there. You can show your loggers; they'll have a pretty good idea of the timber. At least give them a preliminary idea of what's going on as far as the timber goes. So, whatever. I was talking to a logger at that particular time, and I said, listen, I've got to head back up north. I said, but my surveyor tells me that he's got some markings that you can identify at least where this timber's at, or give you a good idea where the timber's at. If you're interested in taking a quick look, because otherwise you're gonna have to wait till I come back in about 3 weeks. And of course he wanted to look at it now. So I said, I tell you what, I will take you over this actual, really they don't really call it a holler, but this road's called Levi Branch. I said, I'll take you over to Levi Branch and show you where the surveyor says he's got some markings up, and then you can give me a call in a week or so and let me know what you think about the timber. And so it was getting towards the evening, and I like to drive at night, so I wanted to cut out that night. So the logger shows up at my house. We hop in my truck and we head over to Levi Branch. And sure enough, you can see the tree. There's a tree where the logger had, or not the logger, I'm sorry, the surveyor had marked off. So we pull into this driveway that's right in front of this little shitty trailer, and we're sitting there, and I said, well, okay, here's where the boundary starts. Supposedly he's got some ribbons going up the mountain there. I said, then of course, you're going to take a right, and then you'll find out, these loggers are used to this. So he's like, all right, no problem. While we're sitting there, all of a sudden this truck comes whipping in behind us, and this guy jumps out. And he had another dude with him. I don't remember who that was now, but this guy gets out, a little Weasley dude, just a little scrawled off bastard. He's just harping me. He's just, you sons of bitch, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck are you doing on my property? So I get out of my truck and I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I said, I'm just trying to show my logger where my property is at. And he said, that's not your fucking property. Blah, 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 blah. You need to get your fucking ass off my property by. And I'm like, oh, fuck, Dude's acting like a lunatic. And I said, listen, I'm not trying to steal anything from you. I'm not trying to do anything outside of the realm of normalcy here. I said, my name is Richard Hunter. I said, I have 50-acre plot over here. I said, my surveyor marked it off. You can see where he put ribbons and paint. Well, your surveyor is fucking wrong. Your surveyor, blah, 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 blah. Okay, all right. I said, listen. I said, I'm heading back up north. I said, when I get back home, I will call my surveyor and try to work it out. I said, let's exchange phone numbers. And by the way, dude was acting like a complete lunatic, which should have sent red flags up not to deal with this clown. But, look, I'm just trying to get along. Just trying to get along. Same thing I had going on with Frito. I tried to get along with him too. I always start out trying to get along with people. And sometimes maybe that's my downfall, truthfully. So anyway, I exchanged my numbers with this guy who said his name was Mike Gregory, okay? Later to find out that everybody called him Pinhead, and for good reason, I might add. Anyway, so, God, it's 9 minutes already. Anyway, I head back home up north to Toledo, and I called the surveyor, and I'm like, look, there's a problem. This dude named Mike Gregory, he just went off the deep end with me. I said, he seems kind of dangerous. I said, are you sure about where that corner's at? And he said, I think I might have messed that up. Gregory called me, bitch, and he goes, let me get back with you on that. And I'm like, well, okay. So, anyway, it's 9:32. I'm going to let this go now, and then I'll come back to this point in the story, and 4 would be... episode 14, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, stay tuned for more.